Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Khaosity here, and welcome back to the channel. Alright, so it's been about a week, or just over a week, since Sonic X Shadow released, at least for Digital Deluxe users, and, I've been taking my time. I've been trying to get all these collectibles, which, by the way, honestly, fuck this game and its collectibles, bruh. I'm still stuck. I was initially stuck with trying to find all 80 pieces for that fucking little bullshit clock that they got you building, bruh. But now I can't find the last 4 little collectible cases, bruh. And you can't put the map under a microscope. They don't let you control the map in any way. You can only look at the map and zoom in and out, and that's it. So like, bruh, I'm stuck. I can't find the last 4 collectibles. I can't 100% the game. I'm pissed. Alright, I'm pissed. I've been looking at guides. I still can't fucking find what 4 little chests that I haven't collected yet. I'm getting sick of it. Anyway, that's not what today's video about. Alright, today's video is not about me complaining about Shadow Gen's terrible map functions and me being unable to find 4 more collectibles so I can then get my 100% status. No, today's video is basically going to be my little pseudo review of the game. Alright, quick little tangent. If you guys are new to the channel, there will never be a full-blown review on this channel. They take too long to make and too much time to edit. Sony Vegas has been fucking selling me, so I'm not finna make a full-blown review on Sony Vegas. Alright, I still haven't found an editor. I probably got to get the latest version of Vegas because I've literally been able to find no alternative. And maybe getting the latest version of Vegas will reduce the amount of times it fucking crashes. Who knows? But everything that I'm gonna be saying in this video is more or less what I would be saying in a full review. The only difference is that I will be going way more in depth in a full review. Alright, so for your own sake of time and for my sake of sanity, this will be a quick video. Alright, but before we get into it, if you like the video, drop a like, and if you're new, consider subbing to the channel. We're on the road to 600, we're right there. But let's go ahead and get straight into it. Alright, so the overall verdict of Sonic X Shadow Generations as it stands right now is that it is the cleanest Sonic game to release since Generations / Unleashed, honestly. But why does it hold that title? And this is where we start getting into our little pseudo review. First things first, the controls. The controls are A1. They're solid. They're fabulous. Alright? Any other adjective that you could put into a sentence to talk about the controls, it's there. Alright? The controls are perfect. The open zone controls, or the little white world controls, are also very good. Only problem is they gimped the boost for whatever reason. Like, I understand slowing the boost down because it's not that big of an open world, but still, like, when I boost, I would like to go faster. You feel me? Yeah, but white world / open zone control is perfect. Level control, also very good. Nowhere near as stiff as fucking cyberspace. As you guys know, in cyberspace, the controls during those levels was absolutely horrid. You literally could not turn while boosting. You could not, hell, not even while boosting. You couldn't turn at all if you was up to speed. If you was going full tilt into a full sprint with Sonic, you were not making turns at all. You weren't. You had people freaking using the slide to turn because the slide had more turning ability than Sonic just running regular. So this control compared to cyberspace, infinitely better. I can actually boost and hit turns. It's good. It's great. I love it. Alright, I love it. Along with these refined controls came a little change / innovation to the quick step, whereas before it was exactly as it sounded. Clicking the bumpers would cause Sonic to then take a quick step to the left or the right, whereas here in Sonic X Shadow Generations is no longer a quick step. It's more like a slide to the left or right. So depending on how long you hold the bumpers, that's how long Shadow will slide in that direction. Alright, so it's honestly pretty fucking cool. It really is. It can still be used as a quick step, by quickly tapping the bumper. You still get the quick step feel to it. It still has the fundamentals of the quick step, but like I said, with a little change, with a little innovation, so it's not just the same. It's not completely bland, and I really like that about this game. Overall, controls are absolutely solid. Probably the best boost control we've had in a game ever. All right, in terms of traditional levels, in terms of just overall control in general, Frontiers still has it. The open zone control of Frontiers is still very, very smooth. All right, but moving on from controls, we now have level design, and oh boy, this This is a big one. The level design in Sonic X Shadow Generations has taken a complete 180 compared to level design of recent games like Forces and Frontiers. Levels in this game are lengthy, they're engaging, and they have massive amounts of replayability, something we have not seen in a Sonic game since the original gens, bruh. For me personally, this game is better than OG gens, alright? And I will always say this, alright? OG gens is a good game, a great game, alright? Don't get me mistaken. However, when Sonic Gens was the only thing that they was able to produce that was good up until this point, you tend to get a little bored of playing the same thing for over a decade, alright? I'm not saying that Original Generations is now a bad game. It's not. It's just that, bro, I have had my fun. I've had my fill, alright? I don't really get anything from playing those levels anymore, alright? But in Sonic X Shadow Generations, it is a complete different story. These levels, on average, are longer than the levels in Forces. They are longer than the levels in Frontiers. They're even longer than some, if not most, of the levels in Generations, okay? OG gens, by the way. And then the actual level design is just way more engaging. Space Colony Arc, for example, right? You got the gravity mechanic. In Rail Canyon, you got the rail switching, or the rail switches that you gotta hit to change paths. That's also a great mechanic that we haven't seen since Heroes, honestly. Or the level design in Sunset Heights, where you're going down this straight path, there's a giant Death Egg robot throwing all this rubble at you, and to reach a higher path, you gotta stop time with Chaos Control to get the rubble to be in midair so you can homing attack it to then get up to the higher path. This is the most creative level design we have seen, once again, since OG gens, alright? And then on top of it being just such good level design, so great, you know, so fun and engaging, they make it even more engaging by giving you the chaos powers, right? Or at least chaos control, the ability to stop time and quite literally transform the stage to get access to other areas. Like I said before, in Sunset Heights, you had to use chaos control to stop time so you can home and attack some rubble. In Space Colony Arc, you use chaos control to stop the missiles and then use them as a platform. Like, it goes so deep. The depth of the level design here is really, really good. No single stage is too simple. No single stage is too short. No single stage is just brain dead in its level design like it was in Forces. Like, you are constantly doing something. You have to be attentive in your gameplay to get good and fast times, which we have not had in a while, bruh. We haven't had it in a while. And then also, something else I should probably mention is the challenges. The level design of the challenges is also pretty good, alright? This is the first Sonic game that I have played where I've deadass just gone back to play these missions slash challenges just for fun. That's how good the level design and the challenges are. Not to mention the hard versions of them. Like, bro, this game's level design is top tier. Top tier. Next is the story, and I'm not going to be on this topic for too long because when it comes to Sonic games, I really don't give a fuck about story. I don't. Alright? The story doesn't really mean that much to me. The only thing I'm concerned about is your gameplay. If the gameplay is good, that's all that matters to me, really. Which is why Colors reigned supreme as my most favorite Sonic game for a hot minute, basically since it released. However, despite that fact, the story in this game is basically a 10 out of 10 story, alright? I know for a good number of people, this story pulled at the heartstrings, so much so that even Sam Procrastinates shed a tear, alright? That's not easy to do, alright? That's not easy to do. It's not easy to make a person shed a tear while playing a video game, alright? Let alone a Sonic game. So I really hope that the story or stories in Sonic games will be hopefully just as good as this going forward. I hope they didn't put all this time and effort into, you know, the Shadow story, the Dark Beginnings, the little animatic they put at the beginning of the game to get you caught up to speed on Shadow story. Alright, I hope they're not just making it this fleshed out and this thorough because of the movie coming out. I hope they keep this level of just thoroughness throughout the future, alright? But the story overall, like with Maria and Gerald, it was really satisfying to see, actually. It was actually very satisfying to see Maria talk to Shadow all this time after the incident. It was great to see Shadow talk to Gerald before his descent into madness. Like, this story is a 10 out of 10, bruh. It's a 10 out of 10. And like I said, despite the fact that I don't give a fuck about Sonic stories, this shit was really good. It was really good. And then after the 10 out of 10 story, the last thing I got on my list that I really need to talk about is the Doom powers. All right, the Doom powers also very, very good. All right, I actually really like the Doom powers here, and the reason for that is because Sonic X Shadow Generations, or just Shadow Generations, has a very similar formula to Sonic Colors. All right, a very similar formula to Sonic Colors. The only difference here being is that it is done way better and is way more refined in Shadow Generations. All right, and what I mean by that is, let's obviously the Doom powers being similar to the color power-ups and Colors here, but let's take another little tangent. All right, when Colors was being made back in the day, the intention was for two main acts, and then 2 or 3 missions to go along with it. However, they weren't able to do that, at least with the Wii version. They were able to do that on the DS, but in the Wii version, instead of having missions, they just took the main acts, cut them up into smaller segments, and made those smaller segments a whole act on its own, so they could pad out the game. So along with playing the 2 main acts of whatever respective world you're in Colors, they also force you to play another 2 or 3 what would be missions as regular acts. Alright, so no optional shit at all here. And it's kind of the same in Sonic X Shadow Generations, but at the same time it's really not. For one, the challenge acts, or the missions as they would be called in Colors, are actually good here. Alright, they're actually really good. The level design is way better than anything that you could play in like one of Colors' extra acts. All right, another thing to note is that I don't think they're all absolutely mandatory, because during my playthrough, I could be wrong here, do not quote me, but during my playthrough you only needed to get the correct amount of keys that you needed to fight the boss. So like with Bio Lizard, you only needed 3, so you could do 2 missions of one world and then 1 mission of another and be good for that boss. But then the next boss will come around and then you would need 4, so you would then do that 1 mission that you didn't complete in that one world, and then you would do another 2 and then another 1 in other 2 worlds. Like, you get my point. Basically, you get what you need as you need it, instead of doing absolutely everything. All right, so by doing that, they still pad out the game, but it feels more organic because they don't lock progression behind absolute completion like how it was in Colors. In Colors, you have to beat every act before you could progress to the next world, whereas here you only need to do enough challenges to get the boss gate, and then you can go to the next stage and play that, and then once you need more boss keys, then you can go back to the challenge acts that you haven't completed yet and get the keys from there. But aside from that tangent, the Doom powers on their own are really fun. All right, they're really fucking fun. Doom Spears is just hella fun to just use in the quick reactive fashion that they got you using it for. Majority of the paths, especially in like Chaos Island, require you to use the Doom Spears to, you know, keep going forward. You need to hit 3 of these switches to bring down a pulley. You need to hit 2 of these switches to bring down a pulley. Hit this switch to make more platforms appear so the platforming isn't as treacherous. Like, Doom Spears is pretty awesome. The Doom Blast, of course, being probably most people's favorites. You run up to a Doom enemy, you beat the shit out of them, launch them in the air, and then you can then aim to where you want to go. You know, like, it's a really cool and fun ability. Probably the most used ability in any run and in speed runs as well. The Doom Surf is probably going to be my least favorite ability because there's not many areas in game or in levels where you use them. The Doom Surf is more of a traversal ability used for the open zone, because the open zone is like 60 to 70% water, right? So, and then the last ability being the Doom Wing, which is also very good, but once again, not really one of my favorite abilities, more so because I don't like the gameplay that it brings to the table. All right, and this is not me saying that the Doom Wing is like a bad ability, it shouldn't be in the game. It's good, but just flying over the stage doesn't have that much merit for me. All right, once again, very good in the open zone. All right, like the Doom Wing in the open zone makes searching for collectibles a fucking breeze. All right, and I love it for that. But in terms of actual levels, I'm more so leaning towards interacting with the actual level design on the ground rather than just flying above a majority of it with the Doom Wing. That's just my stance though. Overall, the Doom powers are pretty much a great addition to this game. Like, you will find yourself using the Doom powers any chance you get. It's not like colors, whereas some wisps you just won't use, like rocket or like hover. You will actually find yourself using every ability whenever it pops up in the level design. If you see a Doom Morph Ball, you're going through it. If you see a Doom enemy that you can launch in the air, you're kicking his ass and you're launching him in the air. If you see a Doom Surf section, not really optional, but you are using the Doom Surf. My point being is that the Doom abilities are way more engaging and fun and refined than the color powers were in Colors. All right, in Colors, some of the color powers slow down your momentum because you're using that and you're trying to use the power in its respective area, whereas in Sonic X Shadow Generations, the Doom abilities, you're gonna be using them because they're not slowing down your sense of speed. All right, Colors had a lot of slowdown, especially OG Colors. All right, but in Sonic X Shadow Gens, whenever you use one of your abilities, it only helps you with the speed. It doesn't slow you down at all, right? You still have that sense of speed while using these fun and engaging power-ups. And yeah, man, that's pretty much it. I think I've covered just about everything. The controls are pristine, the best boost controls we've seen in basically any game. Not as fast as like OG Gens or Unleashed, but in terms of absolute control, probably the best. Level design is absolutely pristine and engaging. It all intertwines and connects. It's very good. The story was a 10 out of 10. Can't really take nothing away from that. And the Doom powers are better versions of the Wisps. Plain and simple, they're better versions of the Wisp. Everything about this game is just a better Colors in my eyes. It's just a better Colors. The powers are more fun and engaging. They don't slow down your run through the level. You keep the speed, you keep the movement, you're still going forward while using these powers. The level design is very good. It all intertwines, it engages you, has so much replayability because of the sheer amount of paths you can take. And the controls, like I said, absolutely pristine. The game is amazing. Damn near a 9 out of 10. Damn near a 10 out of 10. Alright? But that's going to be it from me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like. And if you're new, consider subbing to the channel. Let me know what you guys think about Sonic X Shadow Generations. Where does it stand for you? Alright? Where would you put this on your Sonic tier list? Alright? Because apparently everyone's been doing tier lists as of late. Alright? Where would you put this on your tier list? But until next time. Peace.